President. So, as Caroline has mentioned, President, first of all, I want to let you know that I'm the only African reporter accredited here at the White House and covered for the entire continent. So, I just arrived from Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo, yesterday. I went to see firsthand how the people is feeling and the president's message, President Felix Tshisekedi, about this upcoming peace deal. And let me tell you firsthand what I've witnessed myself. I spoke with the people on the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that a president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day in Congo. They see what you're doing as a future, better future for Congo. And I had opportunity to sit down with President Felix Tshisekedi for an interview because I want to understand his mind, what he's thinking, his feeling about everything that your administration is doing. And he told me firsthand that for many years, many American presidents overlooked this conflict. They didn't do nothing. Even myself, I covered President Biden's administration. I pressed many times about this conflict. People are dying in Congo. This country has so much potential, but they need help because this war is destroying the country. Right. They never gave me any answer. And he told me, President Tshisekedi, that you have no idea, he's very thankful for what you're doing, for what your administration is doing. Not only him, the entire Congolese people. They see that finally they will have hope. And President Tshisekedi also mentioned at the end of my interview that when peace finally comes to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he said you deserve, you have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice.
So before we get into the entertaining part of this whole press conference, because it's been overshadowed, right? And it's largely been overshadowed by the upcoming compliment that Trump is about to give this young lady. Because she is gorgeous. But the fact of the matter is, one of the things that I've been saying for a long time is that I don't believe that people truly are standing for peace in the world. They were standing against Trump as far as liberals and Democrats, because for a long time, nobody ever talked about the conflict over in Sudan. Nobody ever talked about the Congo. Nobody ever talked about Rwanda and the peace agreement that Trump has recently fostered over there. And now the people over there, black people, quote unquote, are praising Trump and saying that Trump helped foster peace in the region, and nobody wants to talk about it. You're not going to see it on CNN. You're not going to see it on MSNBC. You're not going to see it on any of the major networks because it's not a popular subject that people would then be forced to acknowledge Trump for participating in. And the one thing that he should get is a Nobel Peace Prize. Another thing that he should get is the credit that he deserves as far as fostering peace throughout the entire world. And as she indicated, and I don't want to hear nothing from black people, as she indicated, nobody talks about the fact that the Biden administration, whether you want to talk about American black people, because I stand for Americans. Let's be very, very clear. I am 100% American. I want to 1000% put America first. But if we're going to give credit, because it didn't take anything for us, like we didn't have to have any military presence, we didn't have to go over and do a whole lot of spending, putting troops on the ground and all of that type of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, all of these previous presidents and your liberal presidents, your Obamas, your Bidens, right, your Clintons, all of these people overlooked actually acknowledging the conflicts that were happening overseas because it wasn't an opportunity for America to coup or to recoup on a military perspective as far as continuing to boost the military industrial complex. So we'll talk about Russia and them losing their millionth soldier or their millionth civilian as a result of battling with Ukraine, who has also lost millions of people. And they say that they're losing over 6,000 people a day, or 6,000 people a week, sometimes over 6,500 people a week and 7,000 people a week. We won't talk about what's happening over in other countries that are absolutely conflicted. Y'all is talking about the humanitarian aid that's being held back as far as the Israel Hamas and Iran conflict and things like that, but nobody gives any acknowledgement to any of these countries that have been suffering and have been at war and conflict for the longest. And so when he's actually helping to improve the conditions of people from other countries, that's not something that he's ever going to get credit from. Let black people tell you he's racist. Let black people tell you he's racist. You have a reporter that is credited, and I've actually went back and researched and looked at a lot of her work. She's actually one of the approved journalists and reporters that is at the White House on a regular basis asking Trump questions, and he always acknowledges her. And you're going to see that he's going to acknowledge her again. But the fact of the matter is, he is a president of all people, and I've been saying it for the longest time. I think that Trump is the greatest president of all time. I mean, obviously he has some stiff competition, but I truly believe in our lifetime, at the very least, he is the greatest president of all time, and he still has 3.5 years left in his term, and he's just getting started. You didn't even hear from Biden. She says she pressed Biden multiple different times as an approved journalist and reporter in the White House, and he never even acknowledged her. But here's Trump, and here's his response.
Boy, and that's so beautifully stated. And Caroline said, number one, she did say, and I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect, she said, she's beautiful, and you are beautiful. Okay? I'm not allowed to say that, that could be the end of my political
Maybe we all got a little bit of boxolitis. I don't know.
career, but I said it anyway.
She is bad as hell. I ain't even gonna front. Like, real talk.
But you are beautiful, and you're beautiful inside. So I wish I had more reporters like you. So you covered Africa for a long time?
Yes, for over 10 years.
Wow.
I cover even your first administration.
Yes, I know that. That's great. Well, thank you. That's so nice that you said that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And I have one more question,
Yes.
Mr. President. Since we know in July or in the future, both President of Rwanda and the Congo will be coming
Yes.
to the United States. In Africa, President João Lourenço, the president of Angola, he is also the leader of African Union.
Good.
He
Yes, I know.
worked very hard to bring peace, but unfortunately...
Let's get him here.
Yes, that's
Okay?
right.
Would you invite him for me?
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
No, we'll have. I know that he works very hard, and he's the head of essentially the union. So the union all over Africa, not the kind of union that we have. This is the union all over Africa, and I'd love to have him. So you'll let him know.
Of course,
Okay.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Good.
Mr.
Now you go back to where you belong,
Sure.
right? That's great. That's a great job. It's real knowledge and real heart too. Congratulations.
Shout out to Trump, man. Again, a lot of people refuse to try to give him his credit that he deserves as far as the things that he's been accomplishing and all of the successes over the last 6 months, let alone his first term included. But I think that collectively, black people need to start opening up their minds to the fact that your leaders, your black leaders that not only has existed in the White House as the president of the United States of America, but the proposed president in the form of the previous vice president and Kamala Harris, but also on top of that, all of your liberal leaders, whether they are mayors, governors, Senate, the Jasmine Crockett's, all of those type of people, they will never give Trump this type of credit because they're biased. They want to see him lose, and as a result, they want to see America lose because they are not America first. The only thing that they care about is continuing to run up their bag, line their pockets, and keeping their jobs in whatever respective branch that they're in. But I'm curious as to what y'all think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, T. Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.